Our next question is from Sophie. And
Yeah.
Sophie wrote, Dear Sat Shree, I wonder about the nature of energies that are felt and experienced while interacting with others. No matter if it's among friends, family, or with coworkers, I often find myself getting overwhelmed in these situations and losing touch with being grounded and comfortable. Could you explain more about this and how not to get overtaken or overwhelmed? With love, Sophie.
Yeah. So there's two parts of that question. Has to do with this getting overtaken by the vibrational field that's around you. And that first part is you can handle it by owning your own space, by owning your own territory. And that is, as I've spoken before, you pull your aura in close to your body, set a grounding cord down into the center of the earth, be aware of your breath consciously, and be in your body in those moments where there is a sense of you and them. It's going to be an artificial creation. You're going to create this new person that can be somewhat more immune to the vibrational field that's all around you. Now, how come it was like that? Well, you were born awake, and you were born actually in an awake environment, even though it was overtaken by ego's desperation and seeking. It was a very awake environment, so there was this willingness to stay open. But what didn't happen is it wasn't able to close back down and become a person fully. So it has, to the extent it has, and you carry the burden of that process and the pain and the self-doubt and the diminishment and the shame that comes with that. And that is the price of embodiment. That's the price of creating a shell, a boundary between us and the rest of the world. That's what is the role of ego, because it's that separate quality of ourselves that becomes the vessel for that boundlessness to come into existence. And it will always do it as you. It'll come into existence. The ego becomes the means by which the universe can know itself. So you have to know yourself. You have to become a person. You have to meet the challenges in life, which otherwise you got too overwhelmed by. And that process of meeting it is this combining quality of greater truth and greater love. The more compassion you have for yourself, the more you can be in touch with the love that you are, the more you can allow other people to be the way they are, even when you're open to them. And therefore, the issue of boundary disappears with love, because it is one of the central pillars, the love that comes from within, the current of the purpose of existence, Satchitananda, the Ananda principle, gives us the strength, gives us the anchoring in our consciousness to be able to be in life without the issue of separation and fear and repulsion that occurs otherwise in our egoic identity that is not yet organized as a person. So those are the two pieces in here, is the bodying you through a psychic technique, and that's what's expanded. What's expanded is your psychic awareness. The psychic awareness has a truth. It's the truth of your being, and then we all carry it. But in your case, as many young people like you, it hasn't all completely closed down because it's inherently quite strong, quite awake, so that you could develop and live life in a way that you could become an integral person. You could become an integrated person, at least enough for you to manifest the divine purpose you were born for. So it's the other side of the coin that goes with what's happened for you. I mean, like Adi Shakti, she's able to receive the vibrational field around her, but she's become a person that's allowed her to work with that in a way that she can not only be an individual and still be aware of the vibrational frequencies that are around her when needed. So that means when you interact with someone, you actually have the ability to open up to it and know it in its essence, know it in its vibrational frequency, not in terms of its characteristics on the surface, and therefore have a way of knowing that's superior to normal human knowing in terms of the surface characteristics or the reactions and surface characteristics. And that quality of knowing can generate in your ego structures of repulsion and fear, or attraction and desire, both of which can get in the way of your ability to know that this is a kind of knowing and loving that down the road will become the means by which your divinity can manifest. So it's a great sign when I see this in young people, but I do know the battle of becoming an individual still has to go on. Life still has to be met. We have to be challenged. We have to go beyond the part of us that gets overwhelmed. And therefore, that is the work. And now, if you do it in the context of this path, you have a strengthening, you have an empowering that's coming out of as Srinivas, our relationship, that allows you to know that all this is arising purposely for you to grow in the maturing of your own personhood, to become a vehicle, an instrument, a channel for the divine into the world. Have trust, have faith in that process, and it's the inevitable outcome. You just stay on the track, still walk the path, still persist, and it will come. It's guaranteed. It's like, because it's yours already. It's just a matter of discovering it and bringing it into your life. All right, there you go. Mm-hmm. And to all like Sophie.